What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel again. Today I'm going to teach you how to build a DIY Slappy curb. Now, I don't know about you guys, but Slappies are one of the most funnest things I've been getting into lately. This is going to be added into the DIY skate park build. Today I'm just going to be building, show you how to build it, and then in the next episode of the DIY skate park build, that's when I'm going to install it and skate it. So today is just purely the building phase of this Slappy curb. So I'm going to show you what you need and how to do it, and we can do this together. So let's go. So all the materials you're going to need, I had to go to Bunnings and get a few things. It cost me about $100, but I had to get a circular saw, which I didn't have. So that put me way above $100. But if you're building this and you already have the tools, it won't cost you as much. But I had to buy a circular saw. I've already got a drill. So you need a melamine sheet. I think that's what it's called, melamine. It's just pretty much a piece of plywood, but with a smooth finish. So that's what the mold's going to be made out of. So when you put the cement in and when you're pulling it out, it won't stick to it because it's nice and smooth. You're going to need, I've got 2 bags of cement. I don't know if I'm going to need that much, but I've just got 2 10-kilo bags. So I've got 20 kilos worth. All of this is going to be in the description anyway, so check that out. But I've got a piece of rebar. I've got pink paint, because I'm going to make a pink curb, not a red curb. Everyone goes for red, but I've been digging the pink colors lately. Clear enamel or lacquer can, I've got that. I've got a float because we're going to do cement work. That's just going to keep it, give it a smooth finish. And I think that's pretty much it. I've got a bucket to mix it, I've got a shovel to mix the cement as well. And anything else, if I've missed it, it's going to be in the description below. So that's all the materials you need. So I'm going to start cutting and making the mold for it now. So it seems pretty straightforward. This should be pretty simple, but I've never worked with cement before, so I won't know how it's going to turn out. But we'll figure it out. Figure it out together, guys. Let's get into it. So this is a melamine sheet, melamine or melamine, I'm not quite sure how to say it, that I got. It's about 600 mil wide. And conveniently, it's 1.8 meters tall, which that's the length I'm going to make my Slappy curb. So the reason why you need it, I think it's about 600, but this is going to be the base, and then you're going to cut 2 pieces to make the form to pour the cement in. It'll make more sense as I go, but that's why I chose what I've chosen here. So it's about 600 mil wide, which is perfect for me. Once again, I measured my car to see how big the curb will fit, like what will fit in my car, and I had about 2 meters to play with, so this was conveniently 1.8 meters, and I found a piece of rebar that was exactly the same size. That's going to go inside of the cement, because if you don't put the rebar in, it's just solid cement inside, so your curb won't have any reinforcement in it, and that's the whole thing of the bar, like what the rebar is. So definitely need to get a rebar, or your Slappy curb will snap once you take it out of the mold. So I literally just went out to my gutter out the front and measured the height of the curb to get it kind of accurate. And then I measured my trucks because I want to make this Slappy curb so you can get up and board slide it too, so you've got clearance on each side so your wheels don't touch the ground. So I'm going to go with about 150 mils, which I'm going to mark on this to get the height, even though this is going to be angled because you're making the mold upside down to pour the concrete in. But once you pull it out, I'm going to make it so it's angled, so the top is smaller and the bottom is wider, so it's got a bit of a bank on it, like not like a gutter, but like a normal Slappy curb if you think about ones that you've seen. So I'm going to mark 150 on each side, cut one out. I can set my circular saw to 150 so I can cut 2 pieces, and then I can start building it on the left over here. So I'm going to mark that and then cut them now. Make sure you wear glasses for this step too, you don't want any wood chips in your eyeballs. That definitely would have been easier to cut with a proper workbench, but you got to work with what you got, you know. So I don't have any wood for the caps because I've cut these 2 pieces now. So that's the base, and then I'm going to sit these 2 up and make the mold for the curb. I've got this wood here I'm going to use. That was for a different project, but I'm going to cut that for the caps because I need caps on the end, otherwise if I now pour the cement in, it's just going to come out the side. So I'm going to use this piece, which I didn't want to, but I can find something else for my next project. I'm going to make the caps for that, and then I can screw it all together. And then I'm going to use liquid nails on the inside just to make it all airtight, so when I pour the cement tomorrow, it won't leak out of it. So that's the next step. So I'm pretty much wanting the mold to sit 100 mil gap at the bottom. This is just a rough idea. And then 200 at the top. And this is going to be the bottom of the curb, that's going to be the top because you're building it upside down. So I need to cut this to fit there, so I can cap both ends and pour the cement in. So that's what I'm doing now, just for reference to see what I'm getting up to with this piece. And then I can screw that into this and then create the cap to keep it all nice and tight. So I've got the mold together, I just need to fix it to the base plate here. Base plate, I guess, I don't know what you'd call that, but pretty much gonna fix that to the bottom. I'm gonna use this bit of wood here and cut little sections out to screw in along the bottom of the base there, just so when I pour the cement tomorrow, this doesn't expand and spread out, and then it'll be like a wonky parking curve. So that's the plan for the next step, and then I'm gonna, like I said, use the liquid nails, get it all in there so it's airtight, and then let it set for tomorrow. So my camera died yesterday, but I was pretty much finished with that step anyway. I was just sealing on the inside, so I used the liquid nails to make it airtight, if you can see there on the inside, and then along the side too, because that's going to keep it all in place and make sure the cement doesn't pour out of those sides. But I didn't actually fix that mold to the wooden base either, so I put extra liquid nails there just to bond that to the base. So once I'm flipping it over and trying to get the cement curve out, it doesn't all just fall apart. So I stuck these cinder blocks on top just to keep it in place overnight. Left that all night, so now I'm going to get to mixing up the cement and pouring that in. I've got all the stuff here. 2 bags, I'm not sure how much I'm going to need, but 2 bags of cement, rebar that goes inside, a shovel and a bucket to mix it, and then the trowel to go on top. Or the float, not the trowel. So I feel like I'm pretty ready to go. I'm a bit nervous because I've never done any cement work before. The first thing that me and Brett did was first cement work was the quarter pipe, but I pretty much helped him and then he mixed it and laid it all himself. So this is my first time working with cement, which I'm excited and nervous at the same time. So pretty much gonna get rid of all this, get rid of the blocks, clean out the inside, and then just get mixing. So it says on the bag I need 1 litre of water per bag, so it's a 10 kilo bag each, so that should be enough. I'll go and get the water ready and then I'll start mixing it up, and I'm just gonna power through it because I got stuff to do today. I'm gonna power through it, show a little montage of what I'm doing, then I'll check in after I've laid all the cement in. So wish me luck because I've never done this before.
Tunes and homemade booze, but it always goes too far. Shooting pool, crack a jack, take off now and don't look back. But hey, don't you wanna play? Hold on, sugar, why you look so sad? Come on now, mama, ain't nothing here so bad. You got fast cars, movie stars, party on down the street with Mary Jane, good cocaine, plenty down there again. You can double down, throw some dice, you can take off now, don't think twice. But hey, don't you wanna play? Baby, come on.
Alright guys, had a few hiccups along the way, but we got it done in the end. So I'll show you guys the finished product. The only thing actually, before I get into that, I feel like such an idiot now. You guys are probably watching and being like, that's not enough, but I only had 2 bags of cement to do this whole parking curb with. I still didn't quite make it to the top, so I think I needed another 1 or 2. That's, how many bags did I get through actually? 7 total, and it still didn't fill my mold completely, but I had 2 bags thinking that was gonna be enough, so what an idiot. After pouring the first one in, I was like, nah, I need to go back to Bunnings. So bought another 5 bags, come back, and then I realized this bucket was a waste. I destroyed it too. You guys probably would have seen that coming as well. If you can see with the shadow, jeez, it's heavy still. How much wasted cement is in there? Because I poured the whole bag in, and then the water couldn't get to the bottom. My shovel was too big, so that's why I had to mix it on the top. So bit of a rocky road, but I got it done in the end. So this is the finished product. It looks a bit wet. I'm not sure if I put too much water in. So as you can see there, I didn't even quite make it to the top. I'm like 15-20 mil from the top of it. So if I had another 1 or 2 bags, it would have fit in perfectly, but luckily enough the float that I had fit inside, so I'm gonna do it like that. It might be a bit harder to get it out after because it's not sitting flush to the top. When it's set, I might have to, hopefully it just comes out, I don't know. I'll deal with that when it comes time, but pretty happy with it so far. I think it worked out well, besides the long ass road to get it done, but it's alright, it's all a learning process. I'm gonna make these mistakes so you guys don't have to. So I'm gonna clean everything up, probably let it set for like 2 or 3 days, and then try and get it out. So I'll see you guys then. So it has since come to my attention that I'm a bit of an idiot. Those cement bags that I bought were 10 kilos for $10. I was in the wrong section of Bunnings. I should have went out to the trade section that I have just learnt about. I could have got a 20 kilo bag for $8 something. So I spent $70 on 70 kilos worth of cement. I could have spent $35 to get 4 bags of the 20 kilo cement rather than spending $70 to get 7 bags of 10 kilo cement. So I could have got more cement for half the price. So I'm such an idiot. I didn't check the right section. I should have asked someone. I just found the cement that I thought would work and I just grabbed the bags of it. So that was the green bags I was using. $10 for 10 kilos. But yes, I've learnt a $35 lesson there because I wasted that much money and had a little bit less cement too overall. So today anyway is the moment of truth. The curb's over here. It's actually 3 days later and it's looking pretty good. It's solid. It sounds good. It's kind of coming loose from the form here. I don't know if you can tell, like that's coming loose. So hopefully when I flip over the form, it'll just plop right out and I can start preparing it for the installation. I'm going to first of all rub brick it. So if you want to do these steps, a lot of people skip these steps and just wax it, but I'm going to rub brick it down so it's nice and slippery. I'm going to paint it. I got some cheap as paint here, just survey marking paint, same as we used for the curb at the jungle spot, the curb we put on top of the cinder blocks, and we used this for the Slappy ledge that was at the DIY spot too. And then once the paint's dry, I've got some exterior clear lacquer I'm going to use to make it extra buttery. Then I'll let all that set and then I'll wax it up. But the end of the video is going to come today. I'm just going to prepare it and get it ready. This is just me showing you guys how to build it if you want to follow these steps. But then on the next episode of our DIY skate park build, I'm going to be installing the curb and skating it. But anyway, let's get this thing out of the mold, see how it turned up, and hopefully it works out well because I would have spent a lot of money on this thing. At least the next one I build will be cheaper because I can keep using that mold. I've actually already had someone hit me up and ask me to make them one out of my mold, so maybe I can turn this into a little side hustle, make people curbs for some side cash. But what do you reckon? Would you guys be interested in that if it turns out well? We'll see how it turns out first actually. I'm going to use my cruiser board with an old deck on top to try and put that curb on top and move it around because that thing is so heavy and I've got no one here to help me. So hopefully this works out well, but I want to get it out and then paint it first. Actually, I'm going to rub brick it and then paint it. That's gonna look see what happened. Alright, managed to get it off without any damage to the mold itself, but I just realized what I did wrong, because there's still some of the liquid nails on the top of the curb here. It wasn't fully dry, like it wasn't fully set when I started putting the cement in. I only let it set for 1 day, the liquid nails, which it was touch dry, but it mustn't have been fully set inside because it was still wet enough to bond with the cement. So that's one tip. Let your stuff dry for an extra couple of days, because I only let it dry for like 24 hours and it's affected the curb here. Like it's kind of weird and chunky. Oh, there we go. Weird and chunky on the actual part where you're going to be grinding. You can still see the nails here, like liquid nails stuck onto it. So that was my bad, honest mistake. But yeah, I know for next time not to do it. I'll let it set a bit longer, but it still came out pretty cool. So that's not an issue at all, because I'm going to rub brick each side anyway and make it nice and smooth. So I'm going to get to that. Then I'm going to paint it pink, and then I'll get the lacquer on. So we're still good. I'm just going to wash the mold out and then try and reseal it and let that set for like a week or something. Actually, I won't be using another mold for a while, so I can let that set so it's nice and dry, so it won't happen next time. So it'll be a nice sharper corner, not like all frayed up like this one, but still pretty happy with how it came out.
Wave. I'm in it for keepsake, in the field with the cleat lace, beat freak with the bare face and a slick tongue, that's what she say. She look good, she a big tease when she bite lip with the wink face. Hella bad when she throwing it back, she bring that my way for the team play. For Pete's sake, I'm above average, I padded my stats, I gotta matter what he say. I'm the 2010, yeah, LeBron James off the backboard, type of bad boy. Hold it down for the task force, if I run his fade, then you ask for it. Niggas cross need to laugh more, I keep it 100 on dashboard. The live show needed passport.
So not having the liquid nails dry has definitely affected the corners of it, because it's not, like, it's still really rocky, because it wasn't a sharp enough angle. All this bit here, the rock and sand and everything that was in the mix is kind of exposed, which I had to rub it down a bit harder, but that's just because I didn't let the liquid nails dry enough, because you can see like the line of where the sealer actually was, the nails. So it's still going to come out alright. I just rubbed it down. It's nice and smooth, like they're not going to get, your trucks aren't going to get stuck on that, but I can always rub it down if I need to, if it gets worse. But time to paint this bad boy.
Everything said turn to the real thing. I've been living like I'm famous, like I don't show my face, like I'm jumping on the stage, like I'm living in a daydream. Lost in imagination. She only want me when she faded. She quick to tell me I'm a favorite. She ain't told no lie, she love it when I catch my cadence. She gone off the deep end, pull up every weekend. I hate to let her down, but I'm in a fast life, so you never slowing me down. Hard range.
So here it is, the final product. I'm actually so happy with how it turned out. It looks so sick. The color pink as well rather than red, but obviously I still had a few problems with the edges because I didn't let the liquid nails dry enough, so it's a bit raggedy on the side, but rubbed it down enough so it should be smooth. Painted it pink. I put the clear lacquer on, that's why it's still wet, but it says it takes a few hours to dry, so I'm finished with it now. I'm just going to wait a few hours, come back and do another layer, and then I might do another layer tomorrow before I go and install it the next day, just to keep it nice and buttery, and then when I install it I'll wax it so it'll just be icy, nice and ready to slide, ready to slappy for days. So I'm so happy with how it turned out. Kind of proud of myself too. So apart from getting the wrong cement, first of all, not getting enough of it, and then not letting the liquid nails dry enough because that's why the edges are jaggedy, it came out pretty well. It was pretty smooth, and it honestly wasn't that hard to do. Like, it was quite simple. Now that I know when I'm building the next ones, because I've already got a request for someone wanting me to build them one, I know I'm gonna redo the mold and like reseal it, make sure it's nice and tight, let it dry for a few days before I start using it, because it wasn't quite dry and it bonded to the cement, so that was my bad. I know which cement to get properly this time, not the $10 for 10 kilo bag. Can't believe I wasted that much money, but yeah, the process wasn't that hard. The only thing I'll do different besides those is probably get a wheelbarrow to mix it, because I was mixing it on the top and that was fine, but it's just gonna be a lot easier in a wheelbarrow, so I might get one of them next. So hopefully I inspired you guys to get out and make some DIY projects while we're in these lockdowns. I'm not gonna show you the installation and skating it. Like I already said, you're gonna have to wait for the next episode of the DIY skate park build, but I'm super hyped. You're gonna let that dry, chuck another layer of lacquer on it, and then yeah, I guess you guys will see when the next episode drops. So if you like this video, you know what to do. Thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. I'm going to keep doing DIY projects like this. I've got another one in mind, which will be dropping maybe in a week or two. Still working on it, but let me know what you guys want to see next, because I'm enjoying this DIY series. So catch you in the next one. Peace.